Usually, um, in the Buddhism, we do have forms. First, have to study, then contemplate, then meditate. And of course, when we meditate, we have to know how to meditate. And then there's three things we have to know: the body, and breathing, and the mind. These three things all put it together, as we call it meditation. And so, in general, everybody is looking, just on not only human, even non-humans, insects, animals, they pursue happiness, some sort of satisfaction. And most the sentient beings, according to Buddhism, they pursue happiness that based on the physical thing, which is pleasure and helpful, right? Everybody wants it. It's a necessity. And for example, if you're thirsty and pursuing, then drink water. And if you drink water, then it brings, abandoning thirsty. If you're hungry and cold, whatever these circumstances, that it brings comfort and the pleasure that relate to the physical. And that's not just only humans, all sentient beings are similar. If you believe believers or not, it's nothing related to that kind of phenomena. And it's a temporary, it comes, goes, and everything is temporary in general, impermanent, right? Always changing. Buddhism doesn't deny its reality. We always recommend it, saying that, we should recognize the nature of reality. There are many levels of the realities, the relative realities, and absolute of realities. Absolute part of reality, usually we don't see it immediately. But if you a little bit aware of it, then there is the way of gate to experience it, that level of reality. That's just, I think, meditation is to go that direction. It's more related to the mind. Of course, it's not just only mind. The way of sitting, way of breathing, and concentration, this all works together, right? I'm going to talk about each of it. The physical, as when we meditate, the posture is crucial, it's important. And in general, mind and body is not the same thing. We have two different phenomena working together. The physical body is a substance. It's made by the 5 elements. And it's very important to understand what kind of components, right, the body. And that's usually be consumed. Food is part of kind of earth, and water. We have to drink water, and we need the heat, and we have to have air, right, breathing in and out is part of air, and then space. It's all together formed this body, corporeal body. And in order to taking care of this body, we have to inputting these 5 elements outside of the body, because it's a part of these 5 elements. And it's saying that don't put it too much and too little, both extremes. If you do this too much in this heat or whatever substance, putting too much and unhealthy, then it's going to destroy it in the body. It's needed, of course, you know, need a balance some sort of. And so the physical, the body is a hosting in our mind. If you hurt and are painful or sick something, it's a hurt in our mind. If your mind is occupied by kleshas, we call it kleshas, and then it's hurt in the body too. And so, as meditation, like medicine, right? Medicine for the mind. And also, if you consider meditation as a food for the mind. And our body needed food, water and air all the time. The similar, I think our mind needed similar kind of medicine, right? Food. It's meditation. It's very, very helpful. And so when you sit, usually you can see across the leg, and then some meditators put their hands in here, some do like this, or whatever comfortable for you. Either is okay. It's very important. Spine is straight upward, and not too loose like this, not too tight. And just we say you should strengthen your body, upward sitting, at the same time relaxed. If you do that, then we say if your body is straight, upward sitting, and relaxed, then your channel is corrected. And through the channel and the wind, usually we just see it breathing, that's we call wind, right? Come out through the nostrils and the mouth, but actually it's go through the whole body. Usually we don't see it. When we sit upright postures, they're saying that this wind go through very smoothly, come in and out, many bodies. Mind, this wind works very close together. Any type of mind, particularly conceptual mind, is carrying by our wind, energy. And so then breathing is a vehicle of the mind. Particularly in the Vajrayana, some teachings, they have detailed how minds and the wind work together, right? Sometimes we can't separate it. Mind and wind energy works together very closely. So the point here is that in the general, if you're meditating, and the people use breathing as a vehicle, breathing in, just noticing that you are breathing in, and breathe out, just notice and breathe out. If you are beginner meditators, aware of it, breathing. Breathing is you're using for focal point, object of the meditation. Meditation means your mind, what you are focusing, familiar with it. Right? This is another part of training of mind. We should know is that in general, we use meditation as a positive, familiar with it, right? It could be go to the negative too. If our mind trained to the negative part of the patterns, then that's become familiar with it, and we think that way and act that directions. But here we are using meditation as positive our mind focusing on something. Of course, meditation is just general. It's large categories. It's what I'm talking about, like we call it shamatha meditation. Trained in our mind, then started the breathing. Breathing is focal object. Some they use statues or visualization image, see the syllables, or like Shakyamuni Buddha, visualize in front of you and focus on that as object, right? Or some meditators use statue or photo and the form, just look at. That's just your mind tied with that object. If you look at closely and that object, then that comes to in your mind. Even if you close eyes, that image comes in your mind. And just mind focus on that object. The point here is that sometimes we are dissatisfied, unhappy, something, because our mind is wandering, distracted. Distracted mind is unhappy mind. If your mind is just resting one place and you feel it, you experience it, and your mind is grounded, kind of resting, right? And you're cutting all other conceptual thought, wondering something. That's why when you're breathing in, just noticing you are breathing in, breathe out, just notice and breathe out. And we use technique counting breathing. In and out, just one. Then breathe in, breathe out, and the two. That's number, we use number. 1 to 7. If you continuously count it, 21, it's okay. Or someday use 1 to 7, right? Then back 1 to 7. 3 times, it's 21. That's how and the great masters of the past use it. Those techniques are very, very helpful. And yeah, it's already tested and it's useful, right? In terms of related to human beings, it's pretty much the same thing. If you look at 2,000 years ago, some teachings of the Buddhas, at that time, emotional, some problems, the same as here. We change a lot of material part of this reality. But, and just as human beings, it's pretty much the same thing. And so, yeah, then breathing in completely, right? And just maybe a little bit hold it on. And then breathe out completely. Out breathing is a little bit longer than in breathing. And yeah, you should do that. Feel it, experience it, right? Your mind is not wandering everywhere, just in the body and focus on the breathing. You feel it completely, right? Yeah, do it like this. And another aware of, and after the breathing, focus on. This is a kind of preparation. It's part of meditation. Preparing, breathing, focus on the breathing. Then after that, you have to rest peacefully. Mind is up, right? And this is very important. And some meditators closed eyes. Some meditators open the eyes. And it's both is correct. Either it's appropriate for you, just to do it, right? What I recommended is that if you, when you meditate, is there's a lot of distractions that's going on. It's very hard to focus on something. Then maybe close eyes is better. Or if you mind too much thoughts going on, and close eyes, and even in the recommended, close the windows and the doors, and look at, close eyes. That brings mind is a little bit calmed down. And when you meditate, your mind is dull, foggy, not a clarity, something going on, right? And sometimes that's happened. It could be related to the work, it could be related to the weathers or inner elements, the body. Then you should open the eyes. Upright postures, maybe wear thin clothing, open the windows, whatever, or turn the light. Those helps. You can just eliminate a sleepy kind of, meditation. And if you continuously meditating long period of time, then I think it's better to open the eyes, because if you close eyes all the time, it's shut a lot of wisdom channels. If you open the eyes, it's open the wisdom, part of channels. It's clearly you can see it, your mind, without any distracting this object. If you train your mind, particular understanding your innate nature of mind, then all appearances, it won't distract it for you. Of course, this appears, but your mind is not wandering on the object. And your mind will become clear and aware of it, and not particularly holding on anything. And there's lots of freedoms. Means that usually our mind is tied with an object. That means that when we see something, then, oh, this is a computer, this is judging, right? Perceiving, grasping. And if we're doing this is creating, says karma, creating habitual patterns. And if we do more and more of these things, then that is the bad habitual patterns. Meditation is trying to stop that kind of patterns, right? We can't eliminate all these phenomena. Even if you close the eyes, it will still comes in the mind. And we can stop temporarily, close eyes, it will stop immediately, but it's not really. It's there. And it's impossible to avoid this phenomenon as long as we're just regular as thinking being, right? Like us. We have eyes, ears, and inner organs like as human being. Then we can see similar these things. And other animals, they have their own opinions. Not the same as like what we see and hear. If there's other beings, like insects and dogs and cats and others, they have different perceptions. Not exactly same. And so, yeah, then meditation, um, shamatha meditation, it's our mind is peacefully resting as much as possible. And great meditators recommend it. You should do short period of time, multiple times, if you want to continuously meditate, right? Because this is why if you just continuously sit in a long period of time, then mind is become weaker and weaker, kind of sleepy, right? Or sometimes wandering. You don't know it. It's just wandering. Thoughts going on. And then that's kind of meditation is not high good qualities of the meditation. The one meditation we know that the people just want relaxed, right? Quiet and relaxed. That's also fine. Meditation brings that. And meditation could be much bigger, brings much bigger result of this. And it definitely brings a peaceful and happiness. There's no doubt. If you real meditate, you know, and this happiness is much better than that pleasure or happiness related to the physical thing. Mental mind is more powerful than this physical. In the Dharma teaching saying that mind is the king, ruler of the speech and this body. If your mind is tamed properly, then our body and our speech go with it. If your mind is filled with the kleshas controlled your mind, then we make mistakes. Mistakes means that we think it's correct, and continuously doing it, it brings suffering. Meditation is a correct method that's organic, what we have, the physical body, just resting peacefully, and then breathing, just deep breathing, and at the same time, aware of your mind. Inwardly, right? Just aware of it. Then we say, probably you heard many times, emptiness, right? Yeah, that's we can talk about it. Emptiness in the Mahayana Buddhist point of view. It's the one of main topic in the Buddhist teachings. You repeat many times those words, the emptiness. We use emptiness because if you are aware of it or analyze your mind itself, then it doesn't have shapes, colors, size, anything. It's like space. Space doesn't have anything, right? Fundamental level of this reality is never change anything. The conceptual thought use an example. It's the sky and the clouds, right? It's like clouds. It's never ever stay all the time in the space, in the sky. It's never stand in its or change anything. Space is always the same thing. And the similar, our mind is always union of appearances and emptiness, or awareness and emptiness. One is part of emptiness, another part of awareness, pure awareness. That's just, we have to aware of it and to recognize, right? That's some use technique conceptually understand, right? Or just aware of it and rest peacefully. You don't have to shut down all the senses, just open all senses and aware of your mind. And at some point, you understand your mind is emptiness, at the same time, it's awareness. And not particular, tied to any object, a sound, smell, or taste, anything. And you are not blocking of those, appearances either. It occurs and you understand its emptiness. Yet, it's not the nothingness. You're aware of it, you understand. Awareness is there. That's we call the union of appearances and emptiness. This is fundamental natural reality. If you understand this, aware of it, then it brings very peaceful, ultimate freedom. It eliminates ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing, right? Not knowing one's own mind. This is our mind. The conceptual mind is just temporary, comes, goes. And if you're familiar with it, this mind rest, that state, it's meditation. It's vipassana. Vipassana, we can say union of vipassana and shamatha. Your mind is very stable, peacefully resting at the same time, aware of it, understand the reality. This is Mahayana's path and the Dharma of realization. And it's an antidote of the suffering, the mental suffering. Any of it. Anger, hatred, jealous, envy, wrong view, any of it. Passion, aggressions, that's described in the Dharma teachings. It's one method, antidote. It's eliminated all the obstacles of the mind and bad habitual patterns. It's very, very powerful. Great masters of the past, they focus on this. They study about this. They apply multiple times this day, meditating this. And later, if you're familiar with it, then, of course, you can that experience bring into daily other activities. While you are eating, you're still kind of pleasant, right? Not distracted. While you're working, walking, or other activities. It's beneficial. Pretty much similar when you're meditating experience. So it depends time period of the meditation. Some they do long period times, some they do in short period times. And whatever, when you have time, I think you should meditate. And from Dharma point of view, the most important thing, we have to know this body, particularly in our mind. And if we understand in one's own mind that this is the best knowledge, what we perceive, it's much better than other, knowledge, material things. In Dharma teachings described, our innate nature reality is filled with wisdom. There's nothing wrong. It's completely, free from any boundaries. And it's very peaceful too. That's actually who we are, right? as human beings. Not just only humans, all sentient beings. It's just same level, this level of reality. But a human being, we have to opportunity to discover this reality because a great being like Shakyamuni Buddha and others, they already have that experience, right? Then they share this liberation information, how to do it. And so we ask easy to communicate it and apply, and particular our senses and the structures, organs, are yeah, it's very very good. And if we use properly, then we will understand this reality. It's very important, crucial. And then it's, if you get inner wisdom, if you have inner wisdom, realization, Dharma realization, then all of these material things, it will be very beneficial, helpful, more helpful. You appreciate what you have. If you don't have inner wisdom, always looking something outside these material things, then I think it's complicated. Build strong habitual patterns, craving, right? Greedy, needed, and something. And then it doesn't matter how much we possess things, it's needed more. Even one person possess wealth of the world, but still just pursuing something. And that's at that point, we lose our senses, our mind and the object. Chasing that object never ever brings completely satisfied. And our life will be end of that way. And then there's not much pleasure and happy something. From Dharma point of view, happiness must be grow within in our mind, right? To understand the fundamental level of one's own mind and spend a little bit of time with it. Then there is, you can see meaningful life. Oh yeah, this is really meaningful. We need it. Should experience it. Even in 1 minute, a few seconds. And so if you do this, then yeah, Dharma is brings happiness. It's source of the happiness. And Dharma is very beneficial for you. Dharma must be antidote of the one's kleshas. Dharma brings this inner wisdom, right? And avoid the confusion. And so when you have that experience, then your life, what do you have, whatever, what do you have more, appreciate and helpful. And yeah, that's, I think, pretty much about meditation. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Yeah.
I just have a question about maybe recitation and Dharma study. So I've been finding a lot of time to read Dharma study,
Okay.
but that time physically I'm either sitting, lying down, and then I would say the majority of the time I'm reading to myself. And at times maybe I'll read out loud. But can you speak just a little bit about recitation and the practice of study? You mentioned earlier body posture and the importance of posture. Maybe if you could just talk a little bit about that, I can understand how I'm practicing versus what the expectation could be.
Okay. The practice Dharma has many forms you can do, right? The reading is a part of, we try to understand some topics. And recitation, I think you are reciting mantras. Yeah, this is the mantra. It's another part of phenomena. It's very interesting. And we do a lot mantra recitations. And so mantra blessed by Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, right? And yeah, this is another type of phenomena that we should a little bit focus on. And as meditators using mantras, it's a focal object of mind. We do have, it depends the deities, what you are practicing. There's sometimes mantras, visualized mantras, like circling. And sometimes the mantras radiate a light go to the world, what they need, and fulfilled, and remove obstacles, brings good fortune, something. This all visualizations. And you are accumulating of the merit. The good heart and good mind is very important because it's a healthy mind. And any healthy, the good positive mind, if you generated that, it's affect positively in mind and body. So a little bit distracted here. And the mantra, it's one, you recited that mantra well accomplished, like for example, Avalokiteshvara mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, right? And if you recited this, then one, you are accumulating of the merit. The recited mantra, you're accumulating of the merit. Other is that you are generating compassion toward the thinking beings. Mantra is all, like Avalokiteshvara's mantra, all Buddhas, compassion appears as a sound, or Avalokiteshvara's appears as sound, as a mantra. And you are planting the seed, your speech become in the speech of the Buddha, right? And also it has a blessing qualities. That means that I think if you maybe you saw some Japanese scientist maybe, and I saw the photos, the book there. You see the power of the blessings. If you bless the water, and they took photos, and then the clear crystal something shows, and then without the blessings, there's blurry, not clear. Yeah, it all has kind of certain things. Not only just mantras and rocks or stones has certain energies, right? And particularly this mantra and the speech, it's related to speech. Someone says horrible things, it hurts. Bad language hurts. And the one who's saying it with bad attitude, first they're hurting themselves. Similar, these mantras came from wisdom beings. Lots of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, aspiration involved in be invoking and they recited those mantras. It's beneficial. It's benefit for self, It's benefit for others. And there's a way of reciting mantras is that don't too speedy or um, or some mantras mumbling, but if you clearly just recite in the right speed. And sometimes mantras not reciting out loud, something. Inwardly just reciting, mentally, Om Mani Padme Hum, right? That's okay. And yeah, recite a mantra in a visualization with faith and concentrations and not distracted and the right attitude. It brings the good fortune. Yeah, everything is, causes conditions. We think this is correct caused conditions. It's just not only one thing. There's many things involved. And definitely it's beneficial. It's very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What else? Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
So you were starting to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of meditation, like it's healing for the body. Can you continue to talk about those things?
I think some days have like blood pressure is down, and sleep will be better, and I think it's a benefit for health. If you really meditate, your mind is much happier, calmer, and what to say? Yeah, it's calm and sharp. It's a benefit for the work, and a lot of people have trouble to concentrate, right? So stressful in the work area and difficult to concentrate. If you meditate, then your mind it's easy to concentrate on what you are doing, and that's also benefit too, just general. And from Dharma point of view, we are not focused on only that, right? And we can use that benefit. It's beneficial. It's immediately. And if you meditate with mindfulness, then food tasty is better. You can taste it, and yeah, you're feeling it's feel good. But those is, I think, it's a benefit, and this isn't just temporary, which is it's not bad, right? Main for the meditation, particularly Buddhist path, and it's an antidote of the kleshas. Why we are the problems, a lot of troubles, and unhappy. Unhappy, dissatisfaction is that result. There must be causes and conditions, right? Cause is one is ignorance. We are not knowing one's own mind. We are always chasing something. It's our mind confused, like a dream, for example. There is if you're dreaming something, then it has ability to hurt. It's not necessary there to truly exist, right? But in here, Mahayana's path is that if you understand your mind and familiar with it, that is a prajna, wisdom. The wisdom antidote of ignorance, not knowing the mind itself. If you're knowing mind itself, be with it, then it's like illuminating the darkness. Then passion, aggression, ignorance, all the mental, hope and fear usually brings lots of problems. Well reduced. And that's benefit. Your life is a positive way of changing internally. And you have the better view of yourself. And better view of other these phenomena. Your mind is not fighting with this body. Mind and body harmoniously living together. That if you are being mind happy with your body, then that will affect your life and families, friends, and the work area, everything. I think will benefit. It's all related. Sometimes when some area our life is interrupted, right? That brings other similar, effect. Yeah, as my point of view, meditation is a necessity as a human being. Really, it's a necessity. And even just short period of time, whether you can take a spiritual path or maybe it's just secular, just breathing and aware of it. It's the best as Buddhist, just we have to understand one's mind. And this, meditation is very clear the path that to understand one's own mind, the deeper level of this mind. We can study, our mind. It's a big topic. General people spend a lot of time studying material thing. Others, have created something, education, right? Buddhism is really focused on the mind, inwardly, mind itself. And intellectually, you can understand some mind, thoughts, and patterns, but it's just, or you can read someone's explanation of the mind or self. You can understand this, but not deeper level of this reality. You're just reflecting someone's ideas, right? If you really want to know it, your mind, then meditation is the tool, the gate into it. Your own experience it. Like example, someone's talking about tasty, the delicious food. You can read it, some sort of understand, right? But really not. When you eat it, then you know exactly. They're similar. Our mind, when we meditate, then we will know our mind clearly. And knowing our mind is very important. This is a benefit. Ultimate, mind meditation is benefit for the temporary, for the body, for the mind, and also for the ultimate, the reality that we should understand. Yeah, something like that. Okay, what else? Yeah, Debbie.
I have two.
Okay.
The first short one. What do you think about using music as a meditation focal point?
Yeah, you can. Oh, money, pay me home. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can.
Would you suggest music without words? Or if music has words, what do you think?
Um, Music with words is fine. Music without words also is fine. As long as when you play, it brings your mind is calm down. Sometimes with words you understand some singing, right? And also it's a very devotional, you know. Yeah, it's a helpful. Or without words, it's just pure music. Also, it's helpful. Okay, yeah.
My other question is, um, can you talk about the differences between Theravadan, Mahayana, and Dzogchen meditation?
Okay. Yeah, this is a yeah, depends individuals, right? And what we learned in the text, Theravadan school of Buddhism mainly emphasize um, the discipline, physical discipline, a kind of Vinaya, for example, right? And they do breathing, mindfulness, meditation. And Mahayana, we do emphasize, the sub-listeners, they all agree. Everybody does, sub-listeners. Sub-listeners has different levels of the sub-listeners. And in general, I think um, Hinayana, as we call it, Vinaya, maybe they focus on the Vinaya, Pitakas. And in this sense, then, they more focus on um, the discipline of the body and the speech. Mahayana, they do, but not focus on the physical, activities. Mainly in mind. Mind is, they emphasize bodhicitta. The goal is to bring happiness, right? With enlightenment. Another way of describing the ultimate happiness. Goal is just similar, but how they approach this. And um, um, Hinayana, it's a individual sub-focus on, sub-liberation. They're not much focused on this is in the teachings, what we learned in the text, and they individually just focus on the liberations. They don't want to stay in this samsara because it's very painful. It's endless troubles. And it brings birth is problems, aging is problem, illness is problem, death is problem. But death is not ending of the suffering, and it continuously just circling, over and over again. They don't want that, and just want to stop to liberate it and themselves. Mahayana is saying that they don't want either this kind of, saying that it's not enough for self. That's other is similar. They have problems. And the motivation is that all sentient beings, the same as me, I don't want suffering. I don't want this circle of the problems, and I want to bring this all sentient beings do same, achieve enlightenment, end of the suffering. That's how they focus on. And the Vedayana is a different approach. Vedayana is saying that okay, if we understand this reality, then this is already perfect, right? We are the enlightened beings. If we don't understand, then we are the thinking being in the troubles. Samsara and nirvana, it's just one side is samsara, other side is nirvana. If we understand our mind, then it's nirvana, enlightened being. If we don't, confused, then it's samsara. That's related to understand this. Related to faith, related to authentic the teachers and the very pit instructions, those things. It's circumstances, it cause conditions. They're all involved, and then sometimes people understand. Please.
Just a question. So for me, I'm here and studying and learning, and my assumption is that the people that are joining and that are here as well are learning and trying to figure out a path, and a lot of that might include Buddhism and Dharmic study.
Sure.
Over the last year, I've had the benefit of having time.
Okay.
I've had time off for the first time in my life as a grown adult. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about myself and problems and kleshas and trying to be very intentional and surround myself with people that might not be on the path but are on paths to making good decisions and trying to live holistically and core value alignment in terms of heart and mind. What is your thoughts when there are people in your life like family that might be burdened with many kleshas and their energy is consuming with that negativity? How do you, I don't want to say I'm trying to separate from people that might not have the same energy. I'm trying to train better and be better in terms of how I respond and how my time around them is. But when you pick up the phone or you have the conversation, it's always the same, and it's the same sort of negative thought. And no matter how I behave, I can't help, say a loved one or a father,
Yeah.
And I struggle with that because I feel I'm trying to learn so much, and I also feel the energy of wanting to bring people that I love potentially not necessarily along with me, but to maybe think about things differently so that they could see that the burdens that they might feel are not as heavy if they just change maybe thought. And maybe I'm selfish in how I'm thinking, but that's what I'm sort of asking, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that's just we came here, right, as human being, and some situations, I'm generalizing first, and there is some families brings good things, helpful. Some family members brings lots of troubles, and because it brings troubles because it's not particularly the fault, the bad attitude, something, because it's related to the previous some karmas from Dharma point of view. Many generations go back. As Dharma practitioners, saying that, there are few things. One, we should think about it. Many generations, right? Lifetimes in the previous. Maybe I did similar, that person. Now it's returning, it's back. This is how this Buddhism is viewing. And whatever we perform, then it's back and forth. And what we've received now, maybe even though at this moment We are nothing wrong. We didn't do any bad things. But sometimes bad things occur, right? Because they're saying that the previous lives we had this karmic connection that kind of occur. Now it's just returning. And as real Dharma practitioner, I'm using real Dharma practitioner, means that not everybody can do it immediately, but at least we can have ideas saying that, oh, now it's time to stop. If you don't repeat this similar, back, if someone says harsh words, if you just be patient, it's back that kind of words, then you are stopping that, bad bad karma. And other is that if you want to bring those help for something, of course, you have to try your best, right? Best means you think this is the very, very helpful, and or work or give the suggestions or whatever you are doing. And then if they don't take it, if they're not appreciate, then not much concern, right? You tried your best. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes maybe it's not going to work. But at least you don't have any regret. I tried my best. And that keeps your mind as pure, clean. Later, it becomes not, disease of the mind. And it brings peace. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Question: in education, they're not teaching the things that people need to know.
Okay.
I was just wondering, in the East or Tibetan, do you actually have the ABCs of meditation for the children? Is that something that you know as Tibetan? Because as we see, from the millions and millions of people, most of them don't have a clue of what's inside of their mind, and there's so much sorrow and so much bad things that we keep on rolling around. It seems like a little bit of education from the first grade to the grave.
And in Tibet, earlier in the past, meditation is not for everyone. When we say meditation, it's very high, level of the meditations, Mahamudra and Dzogchen level of the meditations. And so now we do some meditations. I think we don't have the kids for meditation. Maybe now there's some text for the kids. And definitely it's like breathing exercise. And for example, in the Tibet, the culture is Buddhism, right? Buddhism is very much involved. And the karma is one of it. And yeah, in particular, the monastic education, that's what we are talking about. Monastic education is Buddhism. And then we do have for the kids and also high school and university That's the level of these educations. And that is probably, it's a, yeah, Dharma education.
It's lacking in America.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Dharma is new in here in the West. Dharma is new, but it's growing, right? Many books now it's available. Many teachers and they're teaching it. Dharma in Tibet is over 1,000 years. And the Dharma here in the West, maybe about 100 years, maybe a few hundred years, I don't know. Yeah, it's new, but it's now it's a very good time to learn those things through everybody is well educated. You can read it, and also in YouTube teachings and like live in here, for example, it's available. In the past, it's very hard to learn these things. You have to be certain places, and they have to, yeah, access the information and so forth. But now it's yeah, it's very good. Please.
I'll just comment sort of on the question, the way you framed it up. I think it's great, and I sort of question that too for the education system in the United States. Depending on where you go, I think there's definitely a need for probably some more clear values depending on where you go to school. My experience in India and China were the values you mentioned. Buddhism has been around for 1,000 years in Tibet. The religious experience of the people that I've experienced in China and India, all that is happening at home. Really truly at home. And when they're out there in the business world and the professional place, there's no even talk of religion. It's just part of culture and life. So I think maybe the American story is because we're so fragmented, from how we developed, how we emigrated, and whether it's Christianity, Catholicism, Southern Baptist, Judaism, there's so many. It's so unique here in the United States. It's nice to go and travel international and see consistency or difference, but I don't know what the answer there is either.
And here we said that education. There's two things, right? One, let's focus on the business. I think that's external. We say external and internal educations. External, I think, in the West and all over the world now, people focus on the material things, product, right? Produce something and make money. And even as long as they make lots of things, make money, even damage mental, the being or environment, people not much pay attention to those things. Long term, I think it's complicated. It continuously doing these things. And of course we need, compared to the early years, now it's much, much better, right? The material point of view, everywhere. And from Dharma point of view, this is just material. We do have the view of the material things from Dharma point of view. This came from the great being like Shakyamuni Buddha and many great sages, right? Over thousands of years have the experience. They're saying that this is just it's a benefit for the physical thing. It's for the human beings. If life is spent for these things, then we are wasting in the precious life. And wealth is not just only material wealth. Mental wealth is more important than material wealth. And creating the material, the wealth, education is a good thing, right? Yeah, everybody's focused on spend time, energy, money, and everything. But similar, we have to spend a little bit of time and energy, whatever we have, the mental wealth. That's many levels of the mental wealth. We say that faith is one of it, particularly intelligent faith, that you see the cause and effect, interdependence, they exist with these things. And joyful exertions, enjoy what we have, enjoy food and what do we have. Airs, yeah, look at like a little bit positively the world. And we know, for example, just way of thinking, right? What we are living in the earth is a kind of magical, ball in the space. Millions, even science now discovered the similar planets, like Mars and others, right? We're all dead. It's not like this. We are living that kind of the world. If you a little bit pay attention, then there's millions of causes, conditions we can be, rejoice what we are living. And then breathing and so forth. If you think about it, then everything could be a cause of the happiness. And here, from Buddhist point of view, the Dharma knowledge, Dharma education, as beginning I mentioned that what kind of we trained our mind, then that's become familiar with it, right? If we trained our mind negatively, negative part of this thing, then that become influence in our life. If we trained positive part of our mind, mental states, then it's become, influence in our life. The faith, joyful exertion, mindfulness, and samadhi, and prajna. Prajna is very important. The wisdom part of our mind, understanding, mind itself. And yeah, this is the most precious thing what we possess. Have to discover the fundamental level of this reality, one's own mind. If our mind is always internally looking something, right, outside of self, ultimate happiness, or we can bring certain things, but this is not completely correct path. And we can pursue certain level of happiness and outside of ourselves on the material things, and the ultimate happiness we have to inwardly look at mind itself, within mind itself. And then if you understand and rest peacefully, short period of time or long period of time, and sometimes then you can feel it become just some sort of relaxed. You experience it. If you have that experience, then these Dharma teachings is I said, necessity. Oh, this is we are missing, This is missing. This we need it. And it's not contradict any, material, this phenomena. What we have, the more appreciate. At the same time, inner wisdom, you feel it, you experience it. then I think meaningful life is there. And yeah, this is I think needed the meaningful life. Okay, I think we can do stuff here. Someone here can put up practice. Okay. Page 14. In the Buddha, Dharma, Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment through the merit produced by my practice of meditation and recitation. May all sentient beings receive benefit, attain the state of enlightenment. In the Buddha, Dharma, Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment through the merit produced by my practice of meditation and recitation. The sentient beings receive benefit, attain the state of enlightenment. In the Buddha, Dharma, Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment through the merit produced by my practice of meditation or recitation. May all sentient beings receive benefit, attain the state of enlightenment. May all sentient beings possess happiness, the root of happiness. May they be free from suffering, the root of suffering. May they not be separate from the great happiness of the Lord of suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, near and far. May all sentient beings possess happiness, the root of happiness. May they be free from suffering, the root of suffering. May they not be separate from the great happiness of the Lord of suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, near and far. May all sentient beings possess happiness, the root of happiness. May they be free from suffering, the root of suffering. May they not be separate from the great happiness of the Lord of suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, near and far. noble emptiness, unceased and appearances at the band of rising, are the way of illusory unity. In front of one's mad ocean cloud offerings in space, on a precious line from the ceiling that top below the sun and moon, is the unequal teacher, the line of the Shakyas, is golden in color, endowed with measurement marks. He is clothed in three Dharma robes and set in Vajra posture. His right hand beautifully extended, not touching murder. His left is in meditation mode, holding the baking bowl filled with Amrita, blazing with confidence like a mountain of gold. His wisdom like grace, eminent, pervaded around the space. His retinue, 8 hot suns, 16 are hot, oceans assemblies of noble ones, form a complete circle around the hand. Merely recalling him once completely liberated from the two extremes of samsara and nirvana is the grand, glorious, supreme place. Visualize him as the great embodiment of the assembly of all refuge. Through great compassion, you took birth and made far under the great aspirations. By hearing your name praise, white lotus, one has no return. We prostrate to the compassionate many, the virtues of riches better than idols, and sorrow through body, speech, and mind. We offer visualizing clouds of some in the body offerings. All the evil deeds have done for us, we have accumulated from beginningless time. We confess one by one, return to the most on our hearts. We rejoice in the virtues of the noble ones and other individuals accumulating the 3 times. Please continuously turn the well of the performed to us Dharma in the 10 directions. Your wisdom formless space expiring without a change in the 3 times. However, for the benefit of disciple to show the way of birth and death, please always appear as the emanation of the Rupakaya. We dedicate all the collective virtues that we have gathered in the 3 times in order to benefit all beings pervading space. Dharmaraja, may it be pleasing to you, and may we attain the state of victorious Dharma Lord. We are living in the dark age of the whole protector. With kindness, please hold us with superior compassion. In this realm of time, the multiplicity of appearances of the 3 practices are expression, your enlightened activity. Therefore, you are the single unequal supreme refuge. We supplicated you from our hearts with confidence and faith. Please do not forget your former great vow until we attain enlightenment. Please hold us joyful with compassion. Guru, teacher, Bhagavad, Tathagata, Arahant, Prophet and complete Buddha, magnificent victorious one Shakyamuni, I approach the offer and take refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavad, Tathagata, Arahant, Prophet and complete Buddha, magnificent victorious one Shakyamuni, I prostrate offer and take refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavad, Tathagata, Arahant, Prophet and complete Buddha, magnificent victorious one Shakyamuni, I prostrate offer and take refuge. Piyadom Mahamanaya Sohan Om Mahamanaya Sohan Om Imagine the variety of wisdom like rays emanating profusely from the form of the moon and clarify our obscurations once of all sentient beings. Contemplate that the great qualities of the path of Mahayana rise, and that is reside on female non-returning. By the spiritual miracle, attain the enlightenment of the Buddha. May all beings without exception be established in that state, in order to be as wise as the warrior Minjishri, and to be just like Samanthabhata. I will follow your examples in all activities. I fully dedicate the entirety of such virtue to all beings. 32. At this very moment, for the people and nations deserve, may not even the names of disease, famine, war, suffering be heard, but rather may pure conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase, and may supreme good fortune and well-being always rise. By this merit, may all nations may defeat enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy webs of birth, all the sickness of death, from the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. Okay, thank you for coming, and see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here, we are here.